25 points, 9 rebounds, and 7 assists. What do you think these statistics represent? Believe it or not, I've tallied up every single MVP statistic since Shaquille O'Neal first won the award back in the year 2000. A period of 24 years, and 25 points, 9 rebounds, and 7 assists are the average statistic of an NBA MVP. And yet, time and time again in recent years, NBA players have done similar or even better than these numbers, but were completely robbed by the faulty voting system of the NBA. Today, with these numbers in mind, we'll be taking a look at 10 NBA superstars who, for one reason or another, got absolutely robbed. 27 points, 11 rebounds, and 4.6 assists while playing 72 games. These are absolutely beautiful numbers in the NBA. And the truth is, any player who can average these types of numbers on a yearly basis would be a perennial MVP candidate. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the numbers that DeMarcus Cousins put up back in 2017. Statistically, this is the best season he's ever had, and was why he was once considered the best center in the league. But that year, in 2017, despite being better in 2 of the 3 major statistical categories of an average MVP, Cousins wasn't named to any of the All-NBA teams. Now, I get that there was a lot of controversy with the way he left the Kings organization, but come on, to leave him off all 3 of the All-NBA teams? That just wasn't right, especially when you add DeAndre Jordan and Rudy Gobert there. But anyway, if you think that was bad, wait until you see this next one. 29 points, 6 rebounds, and 7.5 assists is what James Harden put up in 2016. Those are literally MVP-worthy numbers, and although he clearly shouldn't have won MVP due to Steph Curry's insane season, it's outrageous that, just like Cousins, he wasn't selected to any of the All-NBA teams, especially when Kyle Lowry got in. I know that was the season when Harden showed up to training camp a little out of shape and got his coach Kevin McHale fired, but hey, Luka Doncic has pretty much always been out of shape to start seasons, and he too got his head coach fired once, but yet he's always making All-NBA first teams, even when his team came in 11th in the West. What the heck is up with that, right? Anyway, let's move on to 2013 for a second and talk about how LeBron got completely shafted not once, but twice. I'll start off with the Defensive Player of the Year award. When we think of LeBron today, defense is the last thing that comes to mind. But man, when the King was in his prime, he was a defensive beast who was known for his fanatic chase down blocks and his ability to pretty much guard 1 through 5. Well, that year, LeBron had 25 votes for the All-Defensive First Team and 3 for the second team for a total of 52 points. Marc Gasol, on the other hand, had 5 first-team votes and 2 second-team votes for a total of 12 points. That year, in 2013, LeBron more than quadrupled Marc Gasol's total points when it came to all-defensive votes by coaches around the league. That year, LeBron made the all-defensive first team, whereas Gasol made the all-defensive second team. And yet, Marc Gasol somehow beat out LeBron James in winning the Defensive Player of the Year award. How crazy is that, right? The math just doesn't add up on this one. Unfortunately for LeBron, he didn't even have time to complain because it soon went from bad to atrocious. You see, in 2016, Steph Curry won the first ever unanimous MVP award in league history, but in 2013, LeBron was robbed of that opportunity. What I mean is that, in 2013, there were 121 voters who were given a ballot to vote for who they believed was the most valuable player. Well, they all voted for LeBron James, except this guy here. 120 people in the media thought LeBron James was by far the most valuable player in the league, except Gary Washburn, who voted for Carmelo that season. You know, looking at every single number in the metrics, I have no idea how Gary voted for Carmelo. That was crazy. That was madness. And if I had to guess how LeBron James felt, this was Sparta. In fact, This caused such an uproar that Stephen A. Smith and ESPN actually brought Gary on air to do a segment explaining his reasoning. And ladies and gentlemen, nobody wasn't sold. I'm pretty sure that LeBron hates Gary more than he does Skip Bayless because of this. Anyway, moving on here, let's talk about LeBron's partner in crime from his Miami days, Dwayne Wade. 2005 was the year when Wade took a huge step up in the league. He went from being a very good rookie in his first year to a flat-out star in his second, bumping his stats up in every single category, and most importantly, went from 16 points per game to 24. He should have won the most improved player by all accounts, but instead, that award went to Bobby Simmons. Now, at first glance, Bobby did go from 8 points to 16 points per year, which by definition is a huge improvement, but the only thing is, it was only because his minutes nearly doubled. If we look at their per 36-minute stats, we can see that given the same amount of minutes, Wade was clearly the player who improved more. I mean, not only did he improve in points per game, but rebounds, assists, blocks, everything about him improved significantly more than Simmons. But unfortunately, the voters robbed him of the award and went with the latter. That was a long time ago though. So for this next one, I want to talk about a more trending star, Trey Young. 26 points, 10 assists, and 3 rebounds is what Ice Trey averaged in 2023. Again, he was better than the average MVP in 2 of the 3 major statistical categories. And by the numbers, he was also better than the 2011 MVP version of Derrick Rose. I mean, 26 points beats 25, and 10 assists beats 8. Then, when it came to effective field goal percentages, they were both tied at 48.5%. Now, I ain't saying that Trey Young should have been the 2023 MVP or anything outrageous like that, but by the numbers, he should at least be an all-star, right? I mean, if he did better than the 2011 MVP in terms of numbers, he should at least be an all-star, right? Nope. You see, this is a list of every all-star in 2023, and Ice Trey's name ain't on it. Is that a complete robbery or what? And speaking of complete robbery, in 2006, Kobe Bryant put up 35.4 points per game. In 2006, Kobe Bryant scored 50 or more points in 4 consecutive games. In 2006, Kobe Bryant scored 81 points in a single game. Without him, the Lakers would have been dead last in the conference, but yet he lost out in the MVP race against Steve Nash, who averaged 19 points and 10.5 assists. Sheesh, guys. You know, this actually caused a rift between Kyrie Irving and Nash when they were together in Brooklyn. Yeah, I ain't kidding. During a party at Steve Nash's house, in front of everybody, Kyrie actually said, "You need to give those MVP trophies back to Kobe Bryant because you didn't deserve them." I can't imagine what the atmosphere in the room was like when Kyrie uttered those words. But if you think that was bad, look at what happened during the 2015 finals. 26 points per game to 16. That was the difference between Steph Curry and Andre Iguodala when they had to go up against LeBron James and the Cavaliers. And yet, Iguodala won the finals MVP. Now, people say that Iguodala was given the finals MVP because he quote-unquote stopped LeBron James, or something like that, but 36 points per game, 13 rebounds, and 9 assists is what LeBron averaged during that series. That doesn't look like the numbers of someone who is quote-unquote stopped. Heck, those aren't even the numbers of someone who was slowed down. Man, I think Iguodala only won that finals MVP because of people like this.
I want Iguodala.
Moving on here, I want to talk about an NBA Top 75 robbery because, look, an 8-time All-Star, an 8-time selection to the All-NBA teams, a 5-time selection to the All-Defensive teams, a 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, a 5-time leader when it comes to rebounds, a two-time leader when it comes to blocks, a slam dunk champion, an NBA champion, and yet he wasn't selected to the NBA's top 75 team. I don't know what Dwight Howard did to the voters, but this has got to be one of the greatest heists in NBA history. I mean, for example, as much as I love Dame time, when you compare the resumes of the two players tick for tat, there's no way on earth that Lillard ranks above Howard. Anyway, I want to redirect this back to James Harden. In 2019, Harden did something that the NBA hasn't seen in over 30 years. In 2019, James Harden averaged 36 points per game. The NBA literally hasn't seen anyone score more points in a single season by a single player since the GOAT, Michael Jordan, back in 1987. In fact, the scoring outburst was so insane that other than MJ, the only player to ever average more in a single season was none other than the man who scored 100 points in a single game, Wilt Chamberlain. I'll admit, Giannis was really good that season, but averaging 36 points per game should have been given the same amount of praise as Russell Westbrook when he first averaged a triple-double. And as much as James Harden chokes in the playoffs, he should have repeated his MVP that year in 2019. But unfortunately, the voting system in the NBA really is flawed. Voter fatigue, personal relationships, personal bias, and ever-changing standards are just some of the issues that come with how awards are given out in the NBA. But hey, if you thought these were bad, wait until you see how Ronnie 2K and the whole NBA 2K games rated players.